that just happened. Why are you guys so far away? Look, the stink of this loss is not on us. Why don't you come a little closer? This is the 110 Football Instant Reaction Show brought to you in partnership with Adidas. I'm here with my compadres, my teammates. I'm happy you guys are here.
Shoulders to cry on.
Yeah, because I had to do the last Sporting KC loss alone.
Yep.
In Kansas City. I was all alone in Kansas City, but luckily I have you guys here. Unfortunately, this loss is a little bit worse.
Yeah.
I'm Vince LaRosa with 110 Football, obviously JR with Defenders of the Bank, Jessica Black with Jessica Black because she's awesome. She doesn't need anyone else. And Philly, also Defenders of the Bank. Guys, thanks for...
Still need a nickname for Jessica Black.
Oh, yeah. Did we get a nickname from our LAFC chat for Jessica Black? If not, we'll have to just roll it out there next week.
Yeah.
Roll it out there next week.
No,
all right.
do it tonight.
All right. Well,
that'll be the stock rising tonight. Jessica Black's nickname.
Let me get to what's going on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sure a lot of people are downtrodden right now, and they need a voice of reason. They need maybe a little bit of therapy, and we understand that. That's why we're here for you. That's what we're gonna do. Guys, I'm just gonna, before we get into the headlines and all that stuff, I'm just gonna throw this out there. This is the worst home loss in LAFC history.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to take it from here?
Hey, felt like it. I think it's kind of appropriate. We're all wearing black. It really felt like the death of something tonight.
Was it though?
I'll say this.
Is this an anomaly?
First half, so bad.
Yeah.
Second half, I feel like we maybe even outplayed them. So, I don't know. Maybe we have thoughts on that later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Jess?
It just felt like a continuation of what we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. I think we were hoping after the last game that we would stop the bleeding, but we're still bloody. So it kind of just feels like we're talking about the same things over and over again. So I think this game kind of just reiterated the fact that we need something to change. Something.
Part of a precipitous fall for you, or is it an anomaly? What is
I mean, it could be an anomaly. The reality is we got smoked like a brisket, and Daniel Shallowy was the barbecue sauce. It was a rough match.
It's just creepy.
They carved us up like a Thanksgiving turkey. Your anxiety was perfect, spot on. We got killed. There were certain instances, and we'll get into that, where Farfan made some good plays, but Daniel Shallowy, the guy we needed to shut down, now becomes the second leading scorer in Major League Soccer. 4 goals tonight. Through SKC, they're now the highest scoring offense in Major League Soccer. We made them look like they deserve the MLS Cup tonight.
I can actually tell you, Jess's anxiety had dissipated by halftime because I think she was just trying to smile to keep through it. She was almost like, what were your thoughts at halftime?
Just keep the score as low as possible now. I was just hoping that
salvage something.
Yeah, just salvage something, maybe get a goal. Something we did get the goal, but we had still given up more goals like right after halftime. So, I don't want to say that I don't want to feel vindicated, but I was hoping to be wrong, but I kind of knew this was going to happen. I knew that defense wasn't going to hold up. It was shaky.
Well, I got my buddy Ox in the chat, and he's saying he's heartbroken.
Yeah.
We got Robert, who's saying he physically cannot drive home right now.
Oh,
so Robert, if you're here, I don't know.
Ox
come
lives in
maybe come join
Kansas
us.
City.
Come say hi.
We'll hang out with you until you can get ready to drive home. But let's try to move forward. Let's see if we can have some constructive conversations based out of this. We like to do headlines here.
Yep.
I'm not going to pick on you guys because this is so weird. Does anyone want to start?
Yeah.
Does anyone have a headline they feel like fits?
Go first.
Jess, go for it.
Yeah. Pretty passing patterns are good, but goals are better. I just think we're overthinking it. We're being too clever by half. Some of our passing patterns they look nice, but they're not really, our buildup is static, and it's too hard to get to the next pass. Everything is just overthought, and I just feel like if we just keep it simple and just pass quicker, we'll get the goals. We're doing the work, but we're not getting the reward for it. So I just think, again, go back to basics, 1-2 touches, and just get some goals, because we couldn't buy one. I got one, but we couldn't buy 2. We couldn't continue it.
I want to get everyone's thoughts on this. I like that you brought up passing patterns and build-up. I thought in the first half there was 0 build-up.
Yeah.
Like they could not build up at all. And a lot of it was formation-based. It was like they could get it wide, then get it forward, and then it was a dead end. Second half, the build-up patterns were a little bit different, and it was a formation change that brought that on.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the build-up play, because You know what's funny is in the first half, they actually did have a few chances all through transition, though. They could not build anything from the back.
Right. I think that what we're looking at in the second half, by going back to a more traditional 4-3-3, we also were much slower of a team on the outside. So I feel like that was smart of Bob to go back to a 4-3-3. And you started to see LAFC get comfortable out there. We stopped, you said it was bloody out there, and it was, but we stopped the bleeding. We stemmed the tide a little bit, got one back, and you began to feel like LAFC kind of got control of the match. And I thought that was really important. And look, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but we had a ton of chances in the second half. So not as disappointing of a result if you take how much better we played in the second half as much as you take how much badly we played in the first half.
I don't want to get too into this, but like the changes you made in the second half and the people you brought in, like Alvaro Quezada, who got his debut, good for him. Yeah. Congratulations on that. That's always a good thing, not in a good manner. I think Mamadou Fall played well. I don't know if you're ever going to recreate that. It's just so mismatched.
Right.
Philly, do you want to touch on build-up, or do you got a headline?
I mean, I'm going to just reiterate what I said earlier. Smoked like a brisket. That's exactly what happened. They hit us hard, and we finally got back on our toes within the second half. So the mentality changed, frustration kind of built up. As we were alluding to earlier, we had ample opportunities. But Raheem Edwards' shot that I couldn't tell if Melia got a hand on it. It came hard off the woodwork. But that was pretty much an indication as to how everything LAFC would, like what they would have going forward. And they had ample opportunities. There were plenty of instances where they could have gotten themselves back in the game. I don't know if there was a force field over the net. It was Ted Lasso night. You know, we talked about how football was going to be life today. Football was definitely death in this matchup. And maybe that's your headline. Football is death. I mean, it's Ted Lasso night. We tried to believe, but tonight, to quote Danny Rojas, football was death.
To your point, LAFC's finishing was death, not the death of the other team themselves. Like,
no, correct. Yes.
This you know what this felt like to me was what we used to do to other teams.
Sure.
Like Sporting Kansas City.
Did LAFC on LAFC.
They really did. Well, because what LAFC really was, and I know a lot of people are like, you're pretty in possession and you do all these things. What they really were was a team that could possess the ball and they could be pretty, but they just were clinical. And KC was clinical. They would take advantage of mistakes. They'd put you to the sword. And you know what LAFC was best at was getting 2-3 goals, and then teams just gave up. Yeah. And yes, LAFC did not give up tonight. They tried to push on, but
they did.
The hill was too big. And LAFC were the benefactors of so many times in 2019. So let's talk a little bit about finishing before we get to more headlines. We have people in the chat saying that Danny Musovski was a better finisher than Diego Rossi today. And when he was, he's the only one with the goal.
Right.
He also did miss.
He almost had a brace.
He missed a huge
He also should have had a brace. Should he have had a brace?
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of people that could have had a goal within this matchup. So I would say that the fans out there, they're not wrong. There's plenty of people that could have, like, punched in their scoring card. Raheem Edwards could have. Carlos Vela had ample opportunities. Moose should have gotten a brace. Rossi could have had an opportunity. Sifu had a shot that just went wide to the left, Amelia. There were plenty of players that could have scored goals today. But again, we talked about it earlier. We needed to contain Daniel Shalhoub. He is now the second leading scorer in Major League Soccer. Only Raul Ruidiaz has more goals than Daniel Shalhoub. They didn't look after him. Yep. Kyrie Shelton did things. Old man Graham himself took care of business. We made Sporting Kansas City look good today, and they are making a very good case as to why they should at least come out of the West and contend for that MLS Cup.
This finishing has not been a new thing. Any theories? I mean, we've thrown on as many theories as we possibly can. Does anyone have any theories on what is going on?
It's confidence.
Yes.
It's confidence. It doesn't have. This team has so much talent. It's not about you're creating the chances, you're getting in the spaces, but you're just not finishing. There's something wrong, and I keep alluding to it, but a shakeup is necessary to get this team going. It really, really is.
And Vince, I think what we saw tonight a couple of times from our captain was that real frustration. He fired that ball into like the security section or the 32, whatever that was. And you could tell right after he was like,
that was a different kind of Carlos Alvarez.
That was, and then you saw Brian, he was about a step late or two on that cross to him earlier, and he kind of looked at Brian and he was like, let's go. He was much more demonstrative. I actually really like this Carlos out there on the pitch, but you could tell, to your point, Jessica, he's frustrated with what's going on in the attacking third and that last third of the pitch.
Well, JR, give me your headline.
Oh, my headline is very simply, we miss our center backs. I don't think it's as precipitous of a fall because we don't have Eddie Segura and Jesus David Murillo, two of the best center backs, not just on the team clearly, but in all of Major League Soccer. I mean, there's a reason why Moody's an all-star. There's a reason why Segura is making team of the week time after time. You're replacing your two aces, to again quote Ted Lasso, you're replacing your two aces on the back line with players who aren't center backs, number one, and don't have that presence, that leadership, that mentality.
I will slight ray of sunshine. We did see Murray not warming up, but working out his hamstring.
Yep.
And he was pretty mobile. That makes me think he's not as far away as some people were worried about.
Right.
But Jess, I asked you about what it's like to have two fullbacks in center back positions, and you were not confident, and you were very much right. What did you see? What did you see? Were they set up to fail?
Set up to fail, I think, is harsh just because, I mean, who was going to step in? I think they did as best as they could. But what I did notice is that, you know, I really do like Tristan Blackman a lot. I think he's really good. He looked really uncomfortable trying to manage the other players that are fullbacks that just don't play in those positions. So I think they did the best that they possibly could. But looking forward, knowing that Segura is going to be out for the foreseeable future, and then you have Murillo and hamstring, you know, injuries can be unpredictable as well.
Right, you could be back and then out again.
Yep. What is the solution here? Because we can't continue on. And just looking at the way Blackman was playing, he was making mistakes that I'm not used to seeing him make, and that just comes from feeling probably uncomfortable with the situation that they're in.
Philly, is it just me, or is it still felt like yes, these are defensive mistakes, but they were born out of the fact that they could not build out of the back. They would lose balls in the midfield, and then it's now all hands on deck, emergency defending. Was that a lot of the downfall from the defense today?
I think in a situation like this, everybody is geared to be all hands on deck. Next person steps up. So as much of a blow as it was to lose Segura and to lose Murillo, I think each of these guys are professional enough to know that they need to capitalize on their opportunity to make some moves. And tonight, it wasn't the case. Tristan almost had an opportunity to score a goal. There was a beautiful floater from Carlos Vela. Tristan Blackman almost had his second goal in 2 straight games. He didn't get enough head on the leather, but...
Is the ball still made of leather?
I mean, maybe some sort of polyurethane.
No. The netting is
Don't you
polyurethane.
start.
I'm telling you, I Googled it.
that
It's
one.
true.
Yeah.
The
I
internet
think
is
it was leather
always
when
right.
I played.
Right.
Yeah, back in the 50s. No, keep going. I'm sorry. I just had you put me on one.
No, that's fine. We talked about polyurethane. That's clearly my buzzword. I mean, it was losing Segura, losing Murillo again it was a death knell. But these guys are they're equipped to, and they're professionals. They're meant to step up and take care of business. When we talk about Segura, we wish him well. But you know what's crazy to me is during Bob's presser, he mentioned that Segura sustained a non-contact knock during Portland, and yet he still managed to get through training sessions. He still managed to play 45 minutes against Vancouver on a torn ACL. Does this guy have guts or what? The back line that we have, do they have the type of guts that Segura with a torn ACL has? I don't know. But you asked us earlier whether this was an anomaly, a blip on the screen. Yeah, I would say so. It was a shell-shocking defeat at Bank of California Stadium. You said it, the worst loss. You would have to go back to 2018 to see scores that were this lopsided against LAFC. But if anything, you said it earlier, Carlos Vela played with a little bit of fire to him. The boys are frustrated. They try to do their thing. And you know what? Maybe this is my optimism here, my glass half full approach. Maybe this was a game that smacks them in the face and lets them know, hey, you know what? You guys are actually better than you think you are. This is a learning lesson. Sporting Kansas City at this point could be considered the gold standard in the Western Conference. Guys, you could have done some things. Maybe they'll go into training with a little more fire, and I kind of feel bad for San Jose on Sunday. Again, being optimistic. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Let's get there first.
No, look. I hope
Only
you're
a few
right.
days away.
My headline is there will be a tomorrow. Thankfully,
This too shall pass.
And I say that optimistically because I don't think I learned anything new about this team that I didn't already know. They didn't finish their chances to put a team away. They're not so good at defending crosses, and they're having problems building out lately out of this 5-3-2, 3-5-2 hybrid.
Yeah.
We've talked about. In the pregame, we talked about personnel changes because it's transfer season. The window will close at midnight, I believe, tomorrow for transactions for players that need a transfer certificate. So LAFC could still get players that are free agents.
Right.
And I think maybe after this, they have to seriously consider, if they weren't thinking more moves, seriously consider about more.
Yep.
But I want to go a different way. Personnel, we talked about changes. Is it time to go back to the 4-3-3? Jess, is it like, have you seen all you need to see of this?
Yeah, we're creating the chances, but we're not putting them away. And maybe it's just the lack of confidence because they're not confident in the system. I like it because we create chances, but if we're not finishing, and they did look better in the 4-3-3 towards the end of the game, if that's their comfort zone, right now you need to give them their comfort blanket and give them some confidence. So yeah, I think go back to the 4-3-3 and just go back to what you know.
All right, we're gonna change it up a little bit.
Okay.
We're gonna go stock falling first, which means I need my sad trombone music. There it is. There it is. You guys are. We're all in the. Well, two of them. Yeah, we're all in a little bit of an emo phase here. We're all going through a little self-loathing. So let's all just wallow together. JR, I'm going to go to you first. Who was your stock falling?
Well,
or who or what?
So you wanted to switch the conversation, but I'm going to bring the conversation back to the 5-3-2, 3-5-2.
Okay.
My stock falling is indeed with this lineup.
I thought you were going to be optimistic. I was going to say, that's not what I just said.
No, not this one. With this lineup as currently constituted, with no real leadership in the middle at center back, I think that we have to abandon the 5-3-2, 3-5-2 altogether. It's one thing to be able to utilize your speed when you know the people behind you have your back. Mm-hmm. We don't have that right now. Right. So we outplayed Sporting for most of an entire half of football, playing back in the 4-3-3. And that was really without our A-level talent up front. I think Chicho Arango comes in and plays a true 9. Now you move Rossi or Raito and Vela on the opposite side. Now you can begin to work on finishing that attack with, like you said, the comfort blanket behind you of knowing who you have and being able to mop up some of those plays rather than scramble, which is what we saw over and over again. 5-3-2, 3-5-2, stock falling.
Yeah, I think that formation has made them difficult to beat at times. Not today. But this team needs to be a team that finishes teams off. Philly, are you on board with the changeover? The chat, by the way, they want 4-3-3. I don't think there's one person in the chat that wants to stay with wingbacks.
There's a reason why this young man and I run a podcast together, because we see eye to eye on so many things, including a weird, unwarranted love for the New York Mets. I'm with him. I think that is the stock.
Oh, you guys are
ball.
used to losing.
Right. We're used to losing. I mean, look, here's the deal. I tell everybody, you want to find somebody to date as a significant other, find a New York sports fan, because New York sports are awful.
You'll never be able to disappoint them.
No, yeah, exactly. No, I
and we're loyal.
Completely with my beloved J.R. Liebert, the scarf. I mean, 4-3-3 is where they picked things up. The game started looking a little better. They stopped conceding as many goals. And do they have as many defenders to warrant the 5-3-2 portion of it? I don't know. I think they need to go back 4-3-3. Clearly, they are building up a dynamic scoring line with the addition of Chicho Arango. I think that's I hate to spin a broken record or spin the same thing that he's saying, because we kind of do the same thing anyway. But yes,
that was your whole point.
Present. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. I agree with my buddy.
I don't want to go into this too much, but I would just leave this here. They have looked better in the 4-3-3 each time they've changed it. Think of the game states.
Yeah.
Chasing the game, or a team was already well ahead. Just going to leave that there. Jess, stock falling.
I got to go with Atuesta today. I do.
I think for once you can do this safely.
Yeah.
You're in a safe space.
No arguments here.
He's our pillar in the middle of the field, and I just feel, we need somebody to step up, not only from like a playing standpoint, but somebody needs to be kind of like that captain. We need more than one leader out there. Carlos is trying to do it, but he has so much on his plate already, trying to score all the goals as well. And I just feel like Atuesta is almost, I hate to say this, but letting him down a little bit. He's just not doing enough. And he was basically Casper. Like, he was non-existent in the game today, and I think that's unacceptable for somebody of his caliber, and he's just too important to the team not to be showing up in that way. So, not to be harsh, but just because I have high expectations from him, he's my stock falling today. I just thought, I can't really even think about a moment that he had. I can't even think of one.
Well, I would say the pieces definitely didn't fit together in that midfield, but does he still need to show? He needs to show something.
Yeah, he needs to be involved. Like, there's really no excuse. Like, when things aren't going right, you still have to show feet. You still have to track runners. I saw multiple moments where I felt like he was quite weak in the tackle as well, and just kind of let his man run off with the ball. And that's unacceptable for his caliber, and because he needs to start stepping up. It can't just be Carlos all the time.
Yeah, but Vince, what I'll say, I think he was also afraid of letting, like you had alluded to in the pregame, letting the ball and the attack get behind the midfield, right? I think that Atuesta knows he's responsible for so much out there. And with only the two of them and the other one being Sifu, unfortunately, I really do think Atuesta, the reason why he was kind of poor in the tackle this game, because if he goes full on for a tackle, he knows if he misses, they're on the break. And we saw it enough as it was, but I think that contributed to it too. You're spot on.
Yeah, I mean, he got turned a lot. We've got Ben in the chat who's kind of agreeing with your point that the pieces aren't fitting together. He's saying Atuesta in the 4-3-3, baller.
Right.
Atuesta in the 3-4-3 or whatever we want. Like it is a weird amalgamation. And all we know is it's wing backs and it's two center pairing.
And
it's just not working.
I just want to say that maybe that having that additional midfielder helps him because then he doesn't have to go into the tackle.
Yes.
You're missing Latif as well, and he's
Right.
probably that guy that would be doing that role.
He's the guy that goes hard in every
yeah,
tackle. Absolutely.
Calling
so
the
it's
game
probably
changer
just
for
a
no
little
reason.
bit. Yeah, it's probably just a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Missing personnel, but to the bigger point, Philly is it has to be three in the midfield, right? Like the two's just not. It just doesn't suit Edward at all.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be hesitant because, again, as we were saying, they get behind Sifu and Atuesta, they're off to the races. And they were clearly off to the races. Again, there were so many Sporting Kansas City players that were off to the races. You can look at the scoring line. Scoring line indicates that they were off to the races. So getting three people in the midfield is what we need to do. It's over the course of the past couple of seasons, the knock on Bob was, they're running the same system. Teams are adapting, and Bob kept saying, hey, this is our system. Teams should adapt to us. And then it was interesting that we're having the argument that he's changing up his formation. It gives us something to talk about on a show like 110 Football. But the reality is if things...
Thanks for the plug.
Yeah, of course. 110 Football. It's where
I mean, you're on the show.
It is
They're literally watching the show. You don't have to plug it.
Right now.
Look, I'm just trying to plug you in.
Defenders of the Bank. Plug that.
All right.
When are you going to give me one of those shirts?
When are you going to give me some more of those 110 shirts? We'll call it an...
I probably have some in the van
All
somewhere.
right, I don't have a van, nor do I have any extra shirts.
Right.
But I mean, I could give you the one off my back.
We don't even be doing any shirt drug deals.
I know. Is it going to happen right now?
Drugs
It could be an
Cars.
exchange of jerseys, the same
Yeah.
way people do it on the field.
I mean, guys, this is how I host. I just derail things. I throw you stuff. I derail it. I'm going to do it again. This is what I'm going to do.
Let's
I'm going
do
to
it.
ask all of you.
You're the host.
I'm going to go back to you, Philly, first. But so that's going to give Jess you a chance and JR you a chance.
Yep.
4-3-3. So we've all in agreement. It's a 4-3-3.
Yep.
I need to know what your 4-3-3 is for Sunday.
All right, so I wasn't disappointed with how Brian Rodriguez played. In some cases, I thought he had some amazing passes. There was an instance where he had a brilliant pass. He was expecting it on a give and go, John Stockton, Karl Malone style. He didn't get it. He was disappointed, but he had some fire to him. So depending on whether Chicho Arango's paperwork goes through, I would say 4-3-3, you're going to have... Look, you're going to have Chico.
Are you sitting Rossi?
What's that?
Are you sitting Rossi?
No, I'm not sitting Rossi. I would say...
You're talking about Chicho, so I didn't know if you were bringing him in and you were leaving Rodriguez and sitting Rossi.
No, I mean, if there's anybody that's going to sit, if Chicho's paperwork comes through, it's going to be Raito. But if that doesn't come through, I'm predicting that it's going to be Rossi, it's going to be Raito, it's going to be Vela. In the midfield, let's go back to it. Now, we're going to have Atuesta, we're going to have Sifu. Hopefully we get Blessing back. And then that back line, we got to keep Kim Moon-Hwan in there. No doubt about it. Chico Palacios passed the ball well, had a pretty good game today. You got to keep him there. And obviously, I would say, do we keep Farfan? I said it on earlier shows. I was far from a fan of Farfan earlier on, especially during the Portland game. But he had some plays today where he shut down Shallowy. He looked pretty good. And as far as my fourth member of the back line, Blackman, we got Palacios, we got Kim Moon-Hwan, we got Farfan. There we go. That's my prediction. And, of course, Romero in between the pipes.
Okay. Jess?
It's a tough one. I would say...
Oh, and let me point out real quick before you go about Latif. Latif is not injured. He was out for personal reasons.
Right.
So he could be back for this game.
Well, let's just say Latif would be back. I would probably put Latif and Atuesta and Carlos Vela as my midfield. I'd play Carlos Vela as a number 10. I'd bring Aranjo in to play if his paperwork is ready to go as the number
X-factor.
9. Brian Rodriguez on one side and Diego Rossi on the other side, and then throw whoever else in the back line because our attack is going to be so killer that I'm not worried about it. I think
So it's going to be Philly at left back. I'll be at right back. You're a center back. And you know what?
We're
Jess,
losing
come on out.
10-0 if we're on.
I mean, at this point, we're just saying, okay, who's a defender and just pick him out of the pile and let him go. I mean, I think, Kim is perfectly fine. I think you have maybe an issue on the left-hand side. I don't think you play Edwards there, obviously, because he's a wing back specifically. But for me, it's more about maybe just trying to change something and get a front four going and try to get all your kind of best players in there. Try Araujo at the 9, and then if it's not working, maybe take out Blessing and put in Sifu, and then see how it goes from there. But we need to switch it up. We need to see something different.
Did nobody like my man with the flow out there, Bryce Duke? Our guy.
I actually love him.
Guy Ben in the chat saying maybe Bryce Duke out there. Are you gonna
Not to start.
maybe put Bryce
I'm
Duke
gonna switch
in
something
there?
a little bit.
Okay, what
but
do you
I'm
got?
not going to switch the midfield. In my opinion, we came into the season with the most talented midfield possibly in Major League Soccer history.
With Mark Anthony Kaye.
With Mark Anthony Kaye, with Pancho Ginella, with Bryce Duke as the 3 that aren't starting. If it's Edward Atuesta, Latif Blessing, and Cifuentes, right?
Okay,
So you
so
have
those are your 3.
Those are my 3 that I start.
Okay.
I love the idea, by the way, of Vela playing as a midfielder,
Sure.
but I just don't think Chicho Arango's there yet. But I like Vela, Rossi, Brian Rodriguez. If Chicho's ready, though, I want to see what it looks like with Chicho playing the 9. We can interchange on the outside. Start Mamadou Fall. I kind of liked what I saw from him today.
Okay. So
And
Mamadou's one of your center backs?
Mamadou's one of my 2 center backs.
Okay.
So it's Mamadou and Tristan for
Okay.
me in the center, assuming Marie isn't ready to
Okay.
go yet.
With Fall,
So-
are you maybe afraid that he's a little bit too green? I mean, he's quite good, but he's
absolutely he's.
But
too
you were
green.
willing to play fullbacks in a lineup.
Just throw him out there.
And look, I am only saying start him because I thought he actually played with a lot of composure in these 45 minutes when it was clear he was given a set role to maintain that 4-3-3 line. So Kim Moon-Hwan has to be out there. I like Cheeky a little bit more right now than Farfan, only because I think he knows his role in the 4-3-3 a little bit more than Farfan does. So I'm starting Cheeky and Moon, and then I'm
And
starting
then who was your front 3 again?
I'm no Chicho Arango.
Okay, no Chicho. So just Rossi.
Brian Rossi Vela.
Okay, no Chicho.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
What
I'm
about
not. I'm not gonna do one. I'm the host.
you? Okay.
Do whatever. No, I like all. I mean, look, I this is all speculation. I
Okay,
like all
but
your
I
which
think
points.
of
you
our
have to
3
do
do you
one.
like most?
Oh yeah, actually choose which
how
one
about
you like
that?
the most. If you can remember them.
I know if I can remember. Well, yours twos were pretty much the same.
Mine was better.
Yeah, you had Mamadou in.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, he had mom.
Yeah, you.
I still think
you thought you could run with a fullback and center back. So, see, I like where you're going, Jess, but with Carlos, I think you're going to turn into where you're going to have a two midfield again because you're going to play more like a 4-2.
Good, but I'm gonna make sure I have Latif in there next to Atuesta to make it work. I mean, that's just
Is
what
Carlos
I
going
would.
to counter press
I mean,
from midfield the way that he needs to?
He may not. It's probably a risk, but I think we need somebody in the midfield that can also pick a pass, that has a little
Bryce
bit
Duke.
more technical quality, and I think that's Carlos Vela.
Okay.
So you're on the Bryce Duke hype train.
Okay. If I
I
have
like
to,
him,
if I
but
have to
he's
do
a
one,
little, he's a little lightweit. He was getting thrown around today.
a lot of the guys on the team are lightweight. Let's be fair. Like we're not heavy in the tackle
Latif,
anywhere.
Bryce.
I'm missing passing in this midfield. Latif is a very good player. I like Latif. I like what he brings to the team, but he can be a bit one-dimensional where basically he can change a bit of direction and get forward. He can't really launch a transitional attack. He hasn't actually been very good in the final third, although he can be a good passer. He can assist a little bit. I think when you have Atuesta, you have Duke, who's shown me a little something. He can be a little more aggressive. I think he can be a good passer, and that helps free Sifu to do some things. So that's kind of where I would try some stuff. And also, mind you, we are playing a San Jose team that plays a man-marking style. So if Bryce can get a little bit loose, his movement seems to be a little bit better recently than Latif's. But I love Latif. Look, Latif can have a fantastic game. It's just this year for me, it's been a little wavy, and a lot of it maybe not his fault because again, the two in midfield just do not work for me.
Yeah.
Where are we at in the show? I'm lost now.
I don't think we've done stock
Are we on
rising
stock?
yet.
I haven't even done my stock falling yet.
You should do that.
Did you do yours?
I thought I did.
Okay.
We all did
3-5-2,
ours.
5-3-2.
Inquiring minds would like to know what your stock falling
Well,
is.
I know,
What a host.
Jess, you were worried. There's a lot to keep up. You were worried about what your stock falling was going to be. Mine is Kim Moon-Hwan. Kim Moon-Hwan has not been very good in the last 2 games. Kim Moon-Hwan was not very good in this game. And again, I'm going to give him the same benefit of the doubt that I gave a lot of guys. I don't know if this fits the system. I have been on record as saying I don't understand where it's coming from that Kim Moon-Hwan can only play wingback. I see the capabilities to be a really good fullback and a 4 because he has recovery speed. He can beat a man on a dribble. His crossing maybe isn't the best, but we don't need a guy that crosses the ball. I need a guy that can cut the ball back. That's something he really needs to work on. That was another kind of downfall for me in this game. There were moments where he could have picked a better pass at a better time, maybe held the ball a little longer, but more so he was getting caught in possession. He's getting caught in possession in bad spots, and he looks a little banged up.
I think our wingbacks have been found out. I think that's the main thing, is that they're starting to just man mark them now. And if they don't get the overloads, we talked about this before, we don't have 2v1s, I don't think Edwards and Kim Moon-Hwan are good enough to just isolate and go one-on-one every single time. And I think that's where the playing too much with the ball is coming in. I still think he's so talented. You guys know I love Kim. But maybe just a switch of formation and just make him into a fullback, would be easier.
Well, and his chemistry with Carlos Vela, right, really does seem like it's strong.
I mean, you
in the
get that in like a
attacking-
4-3-3 more so than you get
exactly.
it. Right?
I completely agree. And I think in the attacking third, where we need to finish our chances, we seem to be at least generating more chances with both Kim Moon-Hwan and Carlos Vela on that same side.
The rotations are off. Like Kim is not sure if he's coming or going, and then when he goes, the winger goes wide, the forward shifts over, and the whole team does not shift in the right way, and Kim's just getting lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm going to give him the caveat of saying I don't believe it's necessarily all on him, but I just haven't seen a lot of him in the last 2 games. I still love him as a player. Okay, so let's try to do some stock rising.
Yep.
Let's end it on a positive note for everybody. We've gone through this therapy session. We broke you down. Now we're going to build you back up. Jess, would you like to start with your stock rising?
Yeah, sure. My stock rising is actually going to be Sifu, mostly because when we talked earlier in the build-up, I said I wasn't sure if he had the two-way ability, if he was going to be able to be defensively responsible, but I did see him making tackles and winning the ball back. But I was mostly impressed by his ability to receive the ball on the half turn and then find passes in between the lines. I thought he showed more ability on the ball than I gave him credit for. I kind of had pigeonholed him into this third midfielder that can just run into the box, but he's actually more complex of a player than that, and I didn't give him enough credit. So I was actually really impressed by him, and he did have that physicality, that you talked about earlier. So I liked Sifu, and I thought he made a good account of himself, even though the team was quite poor today.
Yeah, he is a bit of an all-arounder. But he does the things he does really well is crashing the box and scoring.
Yes.
Philly, what do you got for your stock rising?
Go ahead.
The Moose is loose and kicked a bunch of SKC's defenders in the caboose. Moose mauled Melia nearly twice.
Set that up.
People
my
sleep
fault.
Yeah.
on the
on me.
Moose. People sleep on the Moose. He was such a pleasant surprise last season. Scored a plethora of goals. Nobody expected it for a kid coming out of USL. Reno, we jokingly called it Reno 911. I can't remember the name of the team that he was on earlier. It was a joke. No offense to Reno.
1858. I think.
Thank you.
Reno 911 is a fantastic show.
It's a
Lieutenant
fantastic
Dangle.
show.
I mean,
But look,
Lieutenant Dangle's
people sleep on Danny Musovski. He has managed to score plenty
do
of goals.
Moose sleep standing up?
What's that? Do Moose sleep standing up? I would venture to guess yes.
Yes. Okay.
Rhyming as I always can, but he's my stock rising. Again, people sleep on the guy. He can score. He can finish. And within a couple of minutes of him playing, he was more of an offensive threat than a couple of players on the pitch today.
What does he need to improve on then? If people are sleeping on him, what does he need to do in order to get more playing time maybe?
Well, I mean, he has he's got plenty of competition to go against.
Right.
You got Vela, you got Rossi, you got Raito, you got Arango, you got plenty of people.
I mean, they're not necessarily scoring any goals, so this is an opportunity, right?
Well, exactly, and he made his presence felt. If there was any shining moment, other than the fact that Founders Club didn't run out of tasty refreshments, was Danny Musovski scoring a goal. That was a nice thing, and so Danny Musovski nearly scored twice, and so. I mean, if he could have finished it the second time, I mean, it would have been an all-star type thing. But what he needs to improve on is just to continue to come into practice. Anytime he gets reassigned to the Las Vegas Lights, to continue to go out there and challenge Cal Jennings for the scoring leader. He just needs to continue to do his thing, and he's going to get his opportunities, and he makes the best out of it when he comes to LAFC. Again, the kid gets paid X amount, Raito gets paid X amount, and yet Danny Musovski, even last season, was more of a scoring punch than the guy who gets paid the 7-figure salary. That's all I'm saying.
And what was your drink?
Am I allowed to say it?
Yeah.
Party Beer Co. The official,
Well,
official beer
that's,
of LAFC.
That's even better. It's an
Yeah.
official beer of LAFC.
There we go.
We
That
love
was,
our buddy
that was my
yesterday.
tasty refreshment.
Yeah. You know what Danny needs to do is what he did is be decisive.
Yes.
Think
Yes.
quicker. When he was coming into matches earlier in the season, he was like ponderous,
Yes.
getting caught on the ball. So that's what he needs to do, exactly what he did. However, finish that second chance and use your left foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Use your left foot on that one. Okay, I'm going to you.
Yep.
What do you got?
He was part of my starting lineup for San Jose. Mamadou Fall. I
Okay.
thought he was
I
a
like that.
pleasant surprise. I didn't think he played that well last time against Sporting when we saw him make his debut. But, I mean, it's the kid's debut, right? It's deer in the headlights a little bit.
Yeah.
Moose, never mind. But I really like.
You don't want to catch a moose in the
No,
headlights.
you don't want to catch a moose in the headlights.
You know the moose is the most dangerous four-legged animal in North America.
It is.
Okay,
Is
North
it?
America.
It
I'm
is.
glad you specified the continent.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm-
a lot of people get killed by moose.
I'm at a loss.
And not
for
trampled.
words
they
right
actually
now.
push people off cliffs.
Okay.
Moose with
Yeah, they're-
their-
This is
They're
instant
jerks.
reaction,
I'm
not
sorry.
National
Yeah,
Geographic. I think we're getting
Okay,
so
I
off.
might be my
sidetracked
next
you.
catch.
Give me your thing. Give me your
all
thing.
of the gears
I have
stopped
so much
turning
respect
in
for
my
Bullwinkle
head.
right now.
But no, I think
Bullwinkle murderer. Okay.
Poor Mamadou Fall. I'm trying to give him some love right now. No, honestly, I liked his aggressiveness, but it was controlled. Like I had talked about it before, but I
He
think
did.
that
He did things.
he knew his role too. I thought it was really important for him to be able to go out there, Bob or whomever gets in his ear and says, "This is what we need from you for these 45 minutes." And I felt like he did that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really important for him to get that confidence and for us to have a true center back play like a true center back because clearly depth is a problem right now at
Need
that
center
position.
backs right now.
Yep.
He was pumped too.
Yeah.
I mean, going in for that one challenge where it looked like it was almost a penalty, he was
Yes.
pumped.
Yes.
He looked really up for it. And that ball that he actually put in for Moose was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah.
You know.
I like that he was not a passenger. He was a bit of a passenger against SKC, and,
Yeah.
and he really stepped in. And look, center back is a position where you got to have some charisma. You can't just be sheepish. And I like that he stepped in that moment.
Moose,
Sheep. How
Deer
many
in
more
the headlights,
Yeah.
sheepish.
I don't know. You know what my stock rising is?
A lot of animals on the show tonight.
livestock.
No, in my stock rising is Party Beer Co. Because I'm gonna find one on the way home.
He's the
I'm
IPAs,
of age.
baby.
I can do that. No, stock rising for me. Actually, I'm gonna go Carlos Vela, and it's not for the obvious reasons. I'm going Carlos Vela because he's mad, and I like a
Okay.
mad Carlos
Yes.
Vela. When Carlos Vela is
Anger
mad,
management stronger.
good things happen.
Yep.
And I liked your point where it was like this is not the same Carlos we're used to seeing on the field. He was badgering his teammates a little
Right.
bit in a good way.
And he was doing it in like the 85th minute, by the way. In a blowout game, Carlos did not give up. Carlos was a leader by example today in so many different facets. You're absolutely right.
Folks, I love it. We need 2019's Darth Vader to come back. When he's mad, you said it, he takes care of business. When he shows that emotion, I love it. Darth Vader, we want you back.
Wait, I have something I need to go to producer Jason for this because I need to pose this to Jess. There was something about David Luiz in the chat. What is going on?
He's a free agent.
Oh, Ben in the chat has asked you to contact David Luiz and please send him to LAFC. Is that a good idea?
He would kill. He would
Like
kill.
literally kill.
He would no.
Like he'll murder somebody.
He would be the best center
He's
back,
got
obviously,
machetes
in the MLS.
for feet.
I mean, if you want somebody who could ping the ball straight to, Carlos Vela, like ping it right on
But
his.
I also need somebody that can defend.
But he can though. He
Okay.
can. The only thing is he's a little
Said
bit,
that with authority.
mistake prone every once in a while. But other than that, I think he would be class. But I mean, he's not coming.
You
to
got to
LAFC.
pay him DP money to entice him to come here. And how many defenders do we have in this league that get paid DP money?
How many DPs are going to be here after August 31st?
Can I throw
That's a
out another
darn
name
good
to you,
question.
Vince? Can
Yeah.
I throw out the name Matt Miazga?
Why?
What position does he play?
Okay, center back. But
Right?
but Matt Biazga, okay. Matt Biazga's big.
Right.
He can win a header.
Yeah.
Can he pass the ball?
Not great at
Yeah.
passing the ball, but
That was my
he
worry.
does a lot of things that we don't do right now. He can win balls in the box. He can clear the
We are
line.
bad.
for
We are
you.
bad at crossing.
Yeah, and look, teams are crossing on us left and right. I forget what the crossing numbers were last game, but it was astronomical.
Yep.
Stupid.
And this is a guy who has national team experience, who clearly has international experience. I mean, he's on the outs everywhere he seemed to go for the last little bit. Come back home. Come back to MLS.
I actually like this. Do you both have a name that you would just like? We don't know anything, but just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Well, who like somewhat realistically? Matt Miazga is somewhat realistic. Dad Luiz, maybe less so, but he is a free agent if you're going to pay him. Is there somebody?
I don't really have anybody. I mean,
Philly?
You know what? They talked about this earlier on LAFC social media. We want a killer that can score goals, a killer that is a champion, a killer that might have won several pieces of silverware with Manchester City. The millions
And millions?
wanted Sergio Aguero.
Oh, boy.
If we're having a
No,
unicorn wish.
no. He's already signed for Barcelona.
Yes, but we're talking
with his
about
best friend,
future
Messi.
desires. We're talking
Wait,
about
have they
future
been
desires.
have they been able to register him?
Sergio Aguero, Messi, no. So actually,
You might need to
Why don't
rephrase
we
the
end it on
question.
this?
Wait, you say
wish list.
Messi's coming to
Who's
LAFC?
not registered?
I might have said Messi's
He's
coming
gonna
to
go
LAFC.
to Florida
You heard it
to
here
avoid paying
first.
California
Here
taxes.
first. That's the way to end the chat. Guys, you guys have been great. JR, Jessica, Philly, it's been awesome. This has been cathartic, I think, for everybody. I want to thank everyone that was in the chat. Please join us after Sunday's match. You guys are back, right?
Yes.
Defenders are back. Jess,
I
Yes?
don't know. You
I
tell
don't know.
me.
Well, now we're coming back no matter
I
what.
don't know. I invited back.
We're crashing the set.
you guys always do great. I always just show up where I'm told. Here's the schedule for the rest of the week, guys. We've got the big show on Friday, and there it goes. It's the big show on Friday. We're back on Sunday
There we
with
go.
the away days because the team's gonna be San Jose, and myself and Max Bredos have a podcast coming out Tuesday. Actually, we got a special episode coming out tomorrow, Thursday. So check that out also. But again, I just want to thank everybody. You guys have been awesome. Thank you to Adidas, who is our partner on this. We are 110 Football. This is the post-game reaction. And does anyone, final words?
Win
Something.
next time.
We'll get them next time.
That's right.
The negativity shall pass.
Believe.
Football is life.
Baby, football is life.
Be a goldfish
football.
after this one, everybody. Be a
I might have been dead,
goldfish.
but it's still life.